Sorry ahead of time. Okay.
If you guys aren't aware, we're going to have
Stupendous
Wave on today.
Hopefully.
Have you felt it?
You will try.
Hello, what have we here?
You guys are so funny.
Yep.
Hello.
Holy shit. It ain't C3 penis face and R2 dickhead.
Hello there.
Looking? Found someone you have, I would say.
May the force be with us. Fucking A.
Good day, Galaxy! Hey! What's up, guys? Rogue Squadron Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. Episode 86. I am Mopar.
I am Commander Cody. I know a few episodes ago we were kind of like 85. That's the cutoff. Stop recording. We made it past. Here we go.
Yeah.
Last week we had an epic beer extravaganza with our buddy Next Time.
I don't remember any of it.
I don't remember half of it. So go back and check out episode 85 if you haven't already.
Just to give you a touch, we kept a box of one of the beers we had, and it was Revolution Brewing their Death's Tar Imperial Stout. So if you're interested in beer...
I don't know if they can see it from that far away.
Bring it up there. We got a new webcam, and we're testing that stuff out, but...
Oh, it focuses all nicely.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, it does. A lot better. So, if you're watching live, you can see it's the Death's Tar. So they got away with it, and I like it.
The mouse did not go after them.
But if you want to do some beer learning, check out episode 85 with our buddy Alex from Actual Brewing. If you are local, we are setting up for our Rogue One extravaganza next week.
True.
Thursday the 15th.
Yeah, we are 8 days away from Rogue One.
8 days.
I posted that today.
I saw
8
that.
days.
I was dying.
As soon as I woke up, I was like, it's 8 days. Shit, 8 days.
If you guys know, we're referencing Jay and Silent Bob when Jay says we've got 8 days.
So that gives us 8 days.
And he holds up 10 fingers. I love it. It's such a stupid movie, but I love
Jay
it.
and Silent Bob Strike Back, yeah.
What? Well, I know you listen to a lot of podcasts. I don't really listen to podcasts, but the one I do is Joe Rogan because he has... Okay, Joe's great in himself, but his guests are just... It's everybody I always wanted to know about. Like Steve-O and just... He has fighters and Joey Diaz and other comedians. Fucking the greatest comedians ever.
Yeah.
But the most recent one was Kevin Smith, who from Jay and Silent Bob,
finally back,
who also has his own podcast, which I might have to check out.
His comic book store in New Jersey is called You Tell Him Steve-O. Or Tell Him Steve Dave.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, Tell Him Steve
We're
Dave.
picking up, so we have a buddy, Steve Dave.
Which is from the Mallrats, that quote.
Yeah.
Tell Him Steve Dave. But he says it so casually. And I bet like 5% of people who hear him say that are like, oh, I know exactly what that's from. So funny. But anyways, yeah. So if you're in the mood to turn our shit off and watch Joe Rogan, it's a good episode. But
it is the reason, basically, we started podcasting.
Yeah, if you haven't noticed. The only thing we're missing is the big red curtain in the background.
And the money. Because Joe Rogan has a bunch of it. Stacks and stacks. He's a very successful human.
So, yeah, he's awesome. So, yeah, episode 86, we are getting prepared to phone in I was going to say buddy, but this is the first time that we've met via voice.
So, we're big fans.
Stupendous Wave.
The Stupendous Wave off of YouTube.
Yeah.
If you are a Star Wars fan in any aspect, you want to go to YouTube and follow him. Reason being, he brings up the greatest questions of Star Wars you could ever fathom, and it makes you think. Most recently, which we will be talking about here pretty quick as soon as we get him on, if Sidious were killed by Yoda in Episode 3, how would that go about and what would happen?
Yeah.
So we'll get into it, but essentially Emperor Vader happens. Like he takes the reign, and it's but he does that what if and versus and how does this work, and go check him out. Stupendous Wave on YouTube
and on Twitter. He has a big following on Twitter and a lot of a lot of his fans posed some questions for him and us for tonight. So we'll go through those.
But as we do every episode, before we get Stupendous on, we're going to poke this beer a bunch.
You look like a monkey. Like, I want this.
Well, I was thinking we already were gearing up to bring him on, but let's do the beer review real quick.
Well, he's going to be on the show. You're going to have to stay tuned.
Well, Stupendous, will you just calm?
Look down.
Jesus. We don't podcast. Well, yeah, we do podcast. All right, guys, we're going to get into our weekly beer review, episode-ly beer review.
Weekly, yearly fucking beer review.
We are super excited to have this beer.
God, these fucking dolphin things are so loud.
Yeah. The 4-pack, 6-pack anti-seal killer.
I always feel like I'm going to break something.
Yeah. They're on there pretty good. That was unnecessary and amazing. But what I was saying is we are excited for this one, particularly because it's Platform Brewing, which is out of Cleveland. Yeah. A buddy of ours lives just down the street from the brew pub, the brewery, and I went in there and I tried like 8 of them, and everything was amazing. But I have not tried this one.
Is it the Cleveland version of actual brewing?
It is.
It is.
It is. You need to go there. It's like a rundown building, just like all of Cleveland is. But they brew beer inside of it.
Oh God!
So it's Platform Brewing. Today's beer of choice is going to be Bunny Pajamas.
Berliner Weiss.
You heard that right. The beer is called fucking Bunny Pajamas.
Bunny Pajamas.
Pajamas. Bunny Pajamas. It says cranberry pomegranate tart. We're drinking out of tall boys, which is actually kind of weird for craft. Craft beers don't usually come in 4-pack tall boys.
Well, I think it's the same price, so it depends on how unique or strong the beer is.
It says at the top.
This is very, very weak.
Is it really?
Yes.
It's fine. Oh, 3.8.
So we don't have to worry about the 12% debacle from New Holland from 2 weeks ago.
Well, that's interesting that it's a 4-pack and it's so light. But you got to think Photon is a 3.2 beer, so that's even lighter than this.
Right.
So 3.8.
So, based on taste, or they might only do like limited runs of this beer. So.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. On the side it says the series. It's a 12 kettle sour, 12 releases, 12 months. So this must be, I don't know if it has the month on here.
The December of the year? Nope.
I don't know. Probably the November if it took some time to make.
Yeah.
I'm interested in this. Let's do this.
Oh, it looks like cranberry juice. Ay. I haven't smelled it yet.
It smells disgusting.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Please, God.
Let's see.
Oh, it smells like a condom.
Does it really? Yeah, kind of.
Woo! All right. Condom beer.
Well, while Commander and I were standing in the local grocery store, we were talking about the different beers that we've had and haven't had, what we want to try.
Yeah.
And I kind of just said, why are we getting stuff that we know we want to try? Let's try something weird that we haven't done for a while.
Right.
So that's why we kind of picked up this cranberry pomegranate tour. I can't even fucking talk.
We do a little too much. Well, first of all, we wanted to get a new brewery that we haven't had yet. So this met that criteria.
Because the grocery store just recently
got Platform,
picked up Platform.
But I also feel like we kind of look and it was like, oh, that's a Berliner Weiss. Don't worry about that. Let's get an IPA.
Yeah.
Because we love those.
Yeah, we go through. I'm not in the mood for that. Let's get something different. It's like, wait a second.
So
That's
at a
not
certain
the
point, we just had to grab something and, a
right.
review is a review.
Let's just fucking do it. Smells
For
like
a reason.
condoms.
Smells like condoms.
Tastes like birth control. Oh, it's a sour beer. It's a fucking sour beer. Oh my God.
What?
What is that? What did you do? Get this out of here. Let's move it out of the way.
I'm going to need to cleanse my palate with that later.
Yeah, this is... if I had to use one word, it'd be fucked. It's not terrible.
No, it's not terrible.
It's. I wasn't ready for the sour. Even though it says tart, I wasn't ready for a tart that strong.
I wasn't at all. I had no idea. I should have known what it said cranberry, but it's the back. The aftertaste is so good.
It's
The aftertaste is extremely malty.
If I tear up,
and I really, really like it. It's just like too much sour right up front. And the smell does not put you in a good mental state to take a sip of it, if you know what I mean. It's really, really tart up front.
It's almost like the upfront taste is how your mouth feels after eating like 12 Jolly Ranchers in a row. That's the upfront taste.
And then it backs off to some malty goodness in the end. Oh, man.
Yeah, that malt comes in just slightly right at the end. Just like, it's a roller coaster ride, and it's just like, oh.
Well, yeah, after you've like swallowed the beer and you're done with it, then it feels like you're kind of chomping on some fucking barley. Whew.
This is interesting.
I got to think about it.
I was not ready for that.
I was not ready for the sour, so we need to like take an extra sip or two and make sure.
Does it say sour on it? It says malt, Pilsner, white wheat. The hops are, I can't even pronounce that.
Where does it say malt Pilsner? Oh, the malt is Pilsner and white wheat. Hops are Hallertauer Mittelfrüher. I can't speak German. The yeast is American ale, and the adjunct, which is, as I assume, the stuff they add for extra flavor, is cranberry and pomegranate. Wonder what goes into making the beer sour, or if it's only the stuff that they add to it afterwards.
I don't know. That's good. For how much we know about beer, we know nothing.
It's true.
We're like Jon Snow of breweries.
But we do know that they create the mash out of the malt and get the initial liquid form of the beer and then add hops. And while it's going through the fermenting process, they either add more hops or they can add more things for flavor like cranberry and pomegranate.
But that's after the fact. I think that's what adjunct is. Like
that's
you were
what I'm assuming, yeah. I would love to taste this before they add the cranberry.
Not me. But probably just a bag of condoms.
It does smell like condoms. It smells like condoms.
It tastes like them.
There's
too.
no way around that. Oh, the aftertaste is so good.
It's just like a confused beer. That's the best way I can distribute.
It's trying to be too many things at one time.
It's the sour and the malt, I don't think mix well. It's confusing my face up front, and then it's like, by the way, we're still a beer. It's like, wait, no, stop. But it leaves me with that beer hint, and I want to drink it again, and it fucks with my face again. It's not good.
Can you relate that to something? Like something that you do, even though you hate it, you have to get through because the end result is just very nice.
Well, it's like the opposite of a brain freeze. Like you eat ice cream, and then you get the brain freeze. You're like, oh, I'm so stupid. I'm going to do it again and just shove it in my face.
Yeah, it's the opposite.
But you can't stop.
You have to go through the freeze first before you can get the good taste. Ooh. Yeah. So it shocks you with the condom smell. It shocks you even further with the sour taste. Yeah. And then it gives you what you're actually looking for at the end.
I'm going to be a solid number on this one.
Yeah. Our beer rating system.
Out of 3.
Out of 3. 3 is the best. Daily drinker. Recommend it to everybody. 2 is very good. Maybe it's too strong, too expensive, too seasonal, too whatever. 1 star is worth trying, and 0 stars is to fuck off.
Don't touch it.
I feel like and I hate to say this, I feel like every sour beer is going to end up as a 1.
Because it's interesting enough to try.
Well, it's tasty and it makes you curious, but I can't drink it every day, man. Come on.
I don't think I'll ever buy this again.
Well, exactly.
Would I recommend it to anyone? No. I mean, I feel bad because I want Platform to do well, but I'm never getting this again.
Well, what if you... all right, think about this. Think how I used to always hate farmhouses and saisons and wheats and whites. And now I love them. Do you think we're just not ready for sour beers?
I just think they're disgusting. I can have my opinion right now. In fucking 12 years, if I love this shit, then I'll change it. But right now, I'll never buy this again until I forget that I hate it. I don't like the taste. I don't think the malt and everything works well together. I'm almost trying to give it a 0 at this point because I know I'm never going to drink this again.
I want to say in my heart of hearts 0, but I also know that I might not really understand the quality of a sour beer.
But that's fine. At this point, we have to go from this point.
It's funny because I went back and listened to some old episodes and I was talking mad shit didn't make any sense, and I gave some beer like a 1 star. And nowadays, I've had that beer again, and I'm like, it's so fucking good. What was I thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give it a 0. I think it's official, and I want to keep saying it's not that bad, but it doesn't mix well. I don't like the flavors, and fuck it.
Lord Kerner says, looks like you enjoyed that. LMAO, pussies.
Well, and the condom smells throw me off too. 0.
That is not a
0.
good start at all.
So I'm going to tell you why. The
0.
low alcohol content,
0.
very low alcohol content. The value for tall boys for, what was it, $10, $11 that I paid? Fuck that. I could smell condoms for cheaper.
All right. Do you think with the trend of craft beers, do you think there's this thing where they're trying to make just random off the wall unique craziness?
It works though.
And because it's a craft beer and because it's randomly off the wall craziness, that people are like, oh yeah, it's unique. They only do it once a month.
Maybe that's what bunny pajamas smell like, is condoms.
But what if someone likes sour beers? They would rate this a 3 because it's good? I don't know.
That's fine. We're here because we give it our rating.
And we say 0.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say 0.
I think this is only our third 0 of all time. Pickled Santa. I gave the Kentucky Bourbon Barrel a 0, which even at this point, I might even give it a 1. Because
that was one of 3 different beers that night, though.
Yeah.
And you gave the Claymore Scotch Ale a 0.
Oh, that's right. That was the other one.
Whew.
Yeah. This is going to be a struggle to get through the rest of this. It really is.
If it wasn't for the condom smell, I think it would be a 1.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that just sets up the entire beer flavor scenario to be bad.
You know how stuff smells like it tastes and tastes like it smells? I'm chewing on condoms. This is gonna be a struggle. All right, guys, get ready for the best fucking episode of your life. So right. we're gonna scoop up Stupendous Wave here real soon. Like,
we got one thing to do first, though. We got a voicemail from one of our fellow members of the Commonwealth. So we're gonna have to go through that really quick.
So let's talk about the Commonwealth.
Star Wars Commonwealth. On Twitter, you can look up #SWCPod and SW Commonwealth. There's 5 of us now, I believe. A bunch of Star Wars podcasts banding together for the greater good of the galaxy. Check out the rest of the shows. But yeah, we had a question basically based around Star Wars characters and what kind of beer you think they would drink. And since we're on the condom beer, finishing up our review, it would be a good time to punch it in. So, 1 second if you're live with us. Unmute.
If you're not,
here we go.
Good evening, boys. James here at the Tumbling Saber in Canada.
Hello.
I love it. Oh. You're wrong. Sorry. I love this question, though.
Stute. Mm-hmm. I think he's profiling through beer. That's what the fuck's happening right there. Oh, Han Solo's a scumbag?
Oh,
Bud
of course. Light. Bud Light. Bush, even.
Bush.
Thanks for your question. It's actually, I didn't expect anything like that. It's very unique, and it's perfect.
I completely agree with the stout.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I might even push it to a porter.
Stout porter.
Because I would give Boss Nass the stout.
Well, Yoda is one of those characters that's probably not drinking that regularly. So when he pops one open, he probably wants like a very rich, flavorful beer.
I see him as like a Guinness. Like, he's just going to sit back, drink a Guinness, and just worry about the dark side.
Twirl it like a fucking wine. And worry about the dark side. Yeah. Worry about there is another. No, that works. Everyone on Tatooine, I feel like, is drinking very light wheat white ales. Or wheat white ales.
Queen Amidala, she's going to have a sour beer because she's just a sour hoe.
And that's why she's crying all the time in the fucking trilogy.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Annie.
She's always sad in prequel. Or
What?
in episode 1.
So, the Emperor is going to be drinking an Imperial.
Anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything Imperial. That's perfect. The Gungans.
Well, no, let's work the other way. So like an IPA. Who fits IPA?
I got you.
I would say, God, there's so many different IPAs and everyone loves to do IPA. So I'm going to say the Jedi Council was sitting up there. I think Yoda has his own because he is his own person. But the people that you see on the Jedi Council that no one knows who the fuck they are, Epskin Mobot. He's drinking the IPA.
That's the name of the episode. Hang on. I'll forget. Hang on. I got to text it.
Epskin Mobot. Jedi Master.
I love it.
But yeah, so we've already given.
No, that makes sense.
What's Luke drinking?
Luke's not drinking.
This is what I'm going to say for Luke.
I'm saying Luke's not drinking.
No, this is what I'm going to say.
No.
I think Luke, because of the character he is, he starts off with Pilsners. And then in episode 5, he goes to like good lagers. And then in episode 6, he's drinking all the ales. See what I'm saying? Like, he has no clue. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He doesn't even believe in beer. So, and then he gets
He doesn't believe in beer. Yeah. I think Uncle Owen looks like a drunk. And you all know Obi-Wan on Tatooine is a drunk. So I think Luke, by the time he gets off of Tatooine, is completely turned off from all types of alcohol. And he's trying to make the galaxy a better place. That's what I think. Especially once his uncle and aunt get burnt to a crisp. It's like, well, that's where a life of whiskey drinking leads you, so I gotta step away.
So you think he's the clean one?
Sober. I think Luke's sober. That's why he's so boring. Just kidding.
Is Chewie drinking?
He's always drinking. That's why no one can understand what he's saying.
He actually speaks
the Wookiee
English.
language
He's
drunk.
Speaking basic, but it's just hammered.
Exactly. Yeah.
But what is he drinking? I feel like he would have like I don't know, man.
Being such a big creature, he has a high tolerance. So he's probably drinking those crazy 12% like wheat wines and shit that we had.
Yeah.
Imperial.
He's like Andre
bourbon
the
barrel
Giant,
stouts.
but a carpet.
Yes.
Remember Andre the Giant?
Yeah.
He was a big guy.
Yes, I do remember from Princess Bride.
Yeah, that's pretty much that, and wrestling is all I know him from.
I think that's all he did.
God, I can't think of any other like corresponding beers characters. Let's name one other prominent character.
Farmhouses and Saisons.
Farmhouse, Saison.
Well, I feel like that was Tatooine, kind of where I was going with that. Moisture Farmers, Moisture Farmhouse Ale.
Moisture Farmers
Ale. Moisture Farmers Ale. Anyways.
I'm done with this.
It's a good question.
It's a great question.
I love it.
I've had enough of it. Jesus. Thank you for submitting the question. We love to
fuck around.
Luke is drinking Shirley Temples in the beginning, and now he drinks hard liquor because he's had enough of it too.
Well, all right. By this point, at the end of episode 7, when he's on that island by himself, he's in Ireland. He's fucking drinking scotch. And
I can just see Ray walking up that Irish island and coming up, and he's in a fucking lawn chair with like a daiquiri. He's like
the
where
dude,
you been?
Like
ho?
fucking the Big Lebowski.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Agreed.
Well, shit. All right. Well, I guess there's only one thing left to do.
Shut it down.
All right.
Thank you guys for tuning in to Condom Podcast.
And now on to our main event. All right, live friends, stick with us for just a second. We're going to ring up this mofo. Oh, yeah.
I want to hold your hand.
Something for you guys that are live with us. When I friended Stupendous on Skype, his location says Isla Nublar, which is the island from Jurassic Park. Or Nublar, whatever.
Jurassic Park or Jurassic World?
Park, first one.
Yeah. I did not realize that.
Well, now you did. Make sure he pops up on the stream too. You should be able to see him in a few seconds. If he answers.
He's not answering.
Doesn't like us.
Canceled.
Condom beer. Fuck that. He heard. He's listening to the stream.
It's like, what are this freak bags doing?
Oh boy.
He gave up on us.
He doesn't like us anymore.
There's no reason to podcast ever again.
We failed.
You have failed, Your Highness.
God, it smells like a condom. If it didn't smell like that, it'd be so different.
No, it'd only be a 1.
Yeah, different. Little, yellow, fucking
little.
condom.
Jesus.
Sorry.
Why are we still drinking?
Well, you bought it. You gotta fucking do it.
Hello?
Mr. Stupendous.
Yay, yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, my Skype just shut down right as I tried to answer, so my bad.
No problem, no problem. Do you want to do video or you want to just do audio?
I'd rather just do audio.
Totally fine. Mopar, say hi.
Hi.
Hi, what's up?
So what do we call you, Stu?
You could call me Stupendous or, whatever. That's most preferable to me.
Stupendous. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You got to keep the alias going.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. So I am rolling and we are streaming. Were you able to see the live chat at all?
Yeah, I did. I was actually watching.
Okay, cool. So you saw us have the worst beer we've ever had.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, it's unfortunate. We always start with the beer review, and this time it did not go as planned, but it is what it is. All right, cool. So we're rolling. So I'll let Mopar take it away. We'll probably do a little bit about yourself and how you got started with your channel, and then we have questions from the fans, and we'll kind of just take it as it goes.
Go by ear.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome, guys. So we have Stupendous Wave on here with us. Say hi, Stupendous.
Hey, what's up?
Awesome. So there was a huge reason we reached out to you because your shit's awesome.
Thank you.
It honestly, you bring up some of the greatest questions, what ifs that I've ever even thought about. So that's why I can easily hop between 6-7 videos of yours and just be astounded at just thinking. You put a different point of view on Star Wars, but it's cool. And most recently, I just watched your what if Yoda actually defeated the Emperor, and it was just blowing my mind with the whole Emperor Vader. So
Yeah,
I think that might be a good spot to start, because I couldn't wrap my head around the whole Vader actually having a crazy upgraded suit. Because he's so mechanically inclined, I figured he would just have the most high-tech, strongest suit ever. Now, my question to you is, what would that actually enhance him, or would that limit him? Because the suit that he has pissed him off so much, it pushed him even into stronger Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's 100% correct. That's the big question. First of all, we have no idea the specifications of the suit that is mentioned. It's just mentioned. It's not really gone into detail, which is a key piece that you would really need. So a lot of that story that I made, of course, taken liberties with the extent of the suit. But yeah, you're absolutely right. The pain coupled with his own hatred for really everyone else, but mostly himself, really gave him the power that he needed to become the second most powerful Sith Lord in canon and debatably top 10 in Legends. But, you know, the extent really, it's hard to pin down, like I said, because we don't know what the suit was. Of course, the suit does cause him a lot of pain, but he'd still have some of that pain in the new suit, of course, because he's absolutely still horribly, horribly scarred, and he still has all that hatred. So it's just kind of a toss-up. In my mind, if that suit is 100% just top of the line, that Vader is most likely more powerful than the Vader that we have encountered. But
I feel like he wouldn't truly embrace the dark side, though. He would just be an angry Anakin at that point, which is still terrifying, obviously. But I feel like Anakin / Darth Vader is one of those characters that no matter what path he's given, he's succeeding. I feel like, especially with him being born of the Force, it's just like, okay, you can chop me in half and I'm still going to conquer the galaxy, or you killed my master, I'm going to make a suit and conquer the galaxy. Either way, no, shit's happening.
Yeah.
yeah,
So I think the biggest difference would be he would be much more physically capable, obviously. So for how agile he was when he was Anakin, I think it might translate into that new suit. Agreed? No?
yeah. Maybe not quite as fast, but who knows? We don't really know. Like, if you look at General Grievous, he's the only reason he beats a lot of the Jedi, especially in Legends, is because of how fast he is. But it's really, with Anakin, it's more about, that's tough, because at the same time, Grievous had cybernetic implants in his brain as well. So, but with Anakin, he doesn't have those things as Darth Vader. So the question is, who is more mobile or agile, him in the new suit or Anakin? And of course, we'll never know, because we never actually get a look at the suit, which is unfortunate.
Oh, we know. We've got Stupendous on. We're going to get the answer. So
I'm thinking, though, this scenario as a whole. So if Yoda takes down Palp, and on the dark side, Vader's the next in line, right? But Vader's not a politician. He has no involvement in the Senate. I don't picture, if Palpatine hadn't had the chance to really seize control and then put his shit into place, I don't see how he could have died and Vader could have actually, Anakin Skywalker, a Jedi, could have actually stepped in and like seized control. I know it was in turmoil, but he's a Jedi. He's not like in the Senate.
Well, my argument to that would be Palpatine has his people in power.
How many at that point, though? Masameda that we know of. But at that point, Sate Pestage, but at that point.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a valid argument. Like, if Palpy did die, why would they go to Darth Vader? They've got the rest of the... I don't know.
What do you think?
Well, I would counter that with Palpatine really just kind of left after he became Emperor. In Legends and in canon, he really didn't care that much. Like, it's a huge deal when the Emperor shows up whenever. Like, when he showed up in Lords of the Sith on Ryloth, that was a huge deal.
Right.
Or in Return of the Jedi, when he came to the Death Star 2, that's a huge deal. Because Palpatine, he doesn't care about the Empire. In Tarkin, he says he was meant to conquer, never rule. That's not what it's about. So I would say that maybe an Emperor Vader who, like, let's be fair, Vader really governed the galaxy way more than Palpatine did after the Empire actually rose. So
yeah.
He was
who
the
actually
face.
knows? He might have been a better Emperor.
Yeah, he was the face. He was the enforcer. I mean, Sidious was the one pulling strings, but Vader was the one doing things, being seen, making differences.
Yeah. I guess I never really thought of it that way, though. I guess I didn't realize that Palpatine really stepped that far out of control.
And that's why I always argue, why is Palpatine so strong? Why do people see him as that strong? Because he used Anakin because of Anakin's strength. I highly doubt that Palpatine could have done what Anakin did. I mean, Darth Vader as Darth Vader.
My mind is racing now. I got too many questions.
Stupendous brings up great things. So, I think I've watched one of your. Is it like the top 10 canon Siths?
I have a few videos on that. Like, there's 8 canon Sith Lords that we know of. Really, there's 6, but we'll give it to Ventress and Savage for argument's sake.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a big question.
Are you throwing Kylo into that too?
No, Kylo is not a Sith. He's
that's what I was
dark
wondering.
side warrior.
See, I feel like with that reasoning, though, you would probably leave Asajj and Savage off.
Yeah.
I hate saying those 2 names back to back.
Yeah, but they have Sith training, so that's the best difference.
That's true. What were we going to say on the Sith ranks, though? Just most powerful to least powerful?
Yeah,
or?
I think it's very hazy when we talk about Palpatine's power. Like, I don't know how much Stupendous has read, and I assume it's 4,000 times more than I have.
And probably everything.
But a lot of the, like, Rise of Darth Vader book, the Plagueis book, I saw glimpses of Palpatine's power, but it wasn't just like him running into battle. It was a different type of power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't, like, if Vader and Sidious went straight at each other, outside of Sidious being able to just electrocute Vader and kill him, I think Vader has the upper hand. I think if Vader didn't have his life support system as a weakness, I would assume Vader would take Sidious. But that conniving asshole would figure out a way. It's frustrating.
What do you think?
What type of Vader are you talking about? Is this a full potential Vader or?
No, this would be the Vader canon Vader that we see in the movies. And part of my reasoning is the Rise of Darth Vader book and how ruthless he is, and it goes really into detail. And I know you've talked about his suit and the history behind it, but with all of its limitations, like we started off with, those limitations actually enhanced his connection with the Force because it pissed him off and is chafing his eyebrows.
I don't believe Rise of Darth Vader's canon, though.
It's not anymore.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Book, by the way.
Hey, let's take all the best novels. Stop.
It's one of that is clearly one of my favorite books. Just we don't see that side of Vader in any of the movies, not even close. And the fact that we get to see inside his head is stunning, and how he actually really resents the Emperor many times, but he knows he needs to learn from him.
Yeah.
So it's cool because you would assume Palpatine's just using Vader, but Vader's very much so using Palpatine to get to his own end. So
yeah. To the whole, like, if they just went at it, I believe, I can't recall exactly where it's stated, but it's stated that Vader is 8/10 Palpatine. So if Palpatine is a 10, Vader is an 8. So they're real comparable, but at the end of the day, it just Palpatine, to me at least, will always beat Vader. I know that it's how do I explain this? Vader is by far the superior fighter, by far. Like, that's who he is. Would he be more successful in hunting down Jedi than Palpatine? Absolutely, because he's a better fighter. He knows what he's doing.
Right.
But it's like comparing a rocket launcher to like a
sniper
gun, like a sniper. Exactly. Vader is a sniper, and he's gonna get his enemy, and he's gonna be just completely accurate. It's gonna be extremely proficient. But at the same time, you bring in Palpatine, which is like the rocket launcher. He's gonna get it, and it's not gonna be pretty, but it's gonna be massive.
This is how I see it.
I thought you were gonna say the opposite.
Well,
that Vader was the rocket launcher.
I see Vader as the rocket launcher and Palpatine as the poison. I'm a genius.
No, I mean, that's really interesting, because I feel like if you put Palpatine and Vader in a closed combat space, just dropped them on the ground and said fight, I think Vader would win.
I think they would just explode in dark side
Probably
hatred.
that too. But you got to think Palpatine's the kind of guy that would never let himself get caught in that situation in the first place.
Yeah,
that's kind of his power, you know.
I think that Palpatine just takes that fight, but it's interesting if he didn't have the life support or those limitations, but still, I just think Palpatine takes it.
It's crazy.
You know, the edge that Vader might actually have is his Jedi training. Sidious never went through that. So I think there might be things that Vader knows that Sidious has no idea.
True.
You got to think over 20, 25 years of just Jedi Council and having the archives and everything. He's probably read a book or two that he's learned something from.
At the same time, I would say that Sidious has far more Sith training than Vader does. So
yeah.
The same thing goes for him.
Oh, Stupendous
Never
always
ends, man.
being the voice of Star Wars reason over here. Awesome.
Let's go to a little personal history and things. So how did you get your YouTube channel started? Was there any particular thing that kind of urged you to start making these videos? And how did you kind of build it up from scratch?
Well, probably just honestly boredom. Like that's just like one day I was just bored and I wanted to make just a YouTube channel. Like I thought it would be fun mainly just to speak with other people that had similar interests, because I'm sure this happens with a lot of people that you have your group of friends, and of course they enjoy the stuff that you enjoy, but not on really the level that you enjoy it. Like they're more focused on other things, which is absolutely fine, but that's what led me to make a YouTube channel, to find people to discuss that with, that was solely based around that. Like if I wanted to talk about something, I started out making Marvel videos, very poorly made videos, which I'm sure is the case for every YouTuber if you would ask them. But that's really what it boiled down to. I wanted people to talk about these interests, this entertainment with, that really knew as much or comparable or even like more. And it kind of evolved. I went from Marvel, which were not doing super great, but that's not really what motivated me, to more Jurassic World. And then, of course, when you see an interest in something, you pursue it. And then after Jurassic World, during that time, I had a lot of Star Wars, and I just had way more knowledge in Star Wars than anything else. It's always been that way. And that's kind of what it's evolved into. And now it's where it is now, and it's just absolutely a blast. That's what it comes down to, is I have a great time writing. I don't like recording, but
Pissed.
definitely writing is a ton of fun, and seeing the final product, and even more than that, the reaction and thoughts from other people, which is the main reason why I do it, is to get other people's thoughts.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of the reasons that we started the show in the first place too. It was half absolutely. We're already doing this, and half we kind of want to take it to the next level and get more in depth on some of these topics.
And Star Wars is such a perfect spot to end, because it's got such, well, the timing was perfect too, with Disney buying it and Stupendous over here bringing up the greatest questions of all time. It's kind of just that, we've talked about it many times. It's that spot, it's that movie, it's that galaxy that you can go in any which direction in the movies. Pick a character, and there's books and Wikipedia pages and species and planets and history and future. Dude, it doesn't end. So this is a perfect spot to really just push the envelope in all directions.
Yeah. And when you think it's about to end, they're coming out with another movie. So
more content, more comics, more novels.
It's hard to keep up with, honestly.
So I'm going to ask a very broad question, and you better answer it. What is your favorite? I'll give you two. What's your favorite canon, and what's your favorite Legends book? Difficult.
Good question, Mopar.
We'll start with canon, I guess. Bloodline is really good. Lords of the Sith has its moments. Not great overall, but the whole Vader and Palpatine stuff and their interactions are fantastic. There's a moment in Lords of the Sith that I adore that is just completely Palpatine and Vader, where Palpatine's about to kill a villager, and Vader stops him and suggests that they lead them to their village. And then at the end of the book, when they're there, Palpatine says something to the effect of, your compassion will be the destruction of all of them, something to that effect. And at the end of the book, Palpatine orders Vader to kill them all. And I just think like, wow, that's perfect between the Palpatine and Vader dynamic. And those parts of Lords of the Sith, perfect. But then you have all the other stuff thrown in. Bloodline is really great, catching up with the galaxy and everything. And Bloodline is one of the few things that novels that genuinely shocked me. Like the state of events, the way things were going, it shocked me. 6 years before The Force Awakens, and Kylo Ren doesn't know that Darth Vader is his grandfather or anything like that. That's shocking.
Whoa.
That got me.
Spoiler!
Bloodlines, is that the Battlefront book?
Bloodlines?
Yeah.
Bloodline? That's the Leia book.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man. There's just too much.
When you originally
I really
said...
recommend it. It follows Leia. It really shows you the origin of the Resistance and the origin of the First Order and how the strings are being pulled. It's Leia and her political ventures, basically, 6 years before The Force Awakens.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that'd be good to read.
So she's got young Kylo or young Ben.
He's not in the book. He never appears in the book physically. He's off with Luke somewhere, which, gosh, that was so frustrating. Let me just tell you, to get that book and
he's not
have
in it.
That be the thing that you want to know more than anything, and you literally at most get a few pages on it. But you know, it's anything. It's something.
They're gonna tease you.
But overall in that book, it's awesome. You get to see how not all members of the Senate thought that the Empire was so bad. And you have people that adored Darth Vader and stuff like that. And pieces of the Aftermath books kind of have that, but it's not a cohesive story. It's a bunch of smaller stories that are separated, but with Bloodline, it's all together. It all flows into one narrative.
That's really interesting to hear because the movies are so black and white. The movies are so, the rebels are the good guys, the Empire are the bad guys. They're going to fight it out, and it's going to end how it ends. So it's really, I've always been intrigued by those kind of inner workings, the actual feelings that people have about the structure, about the two sides, about the politics.
Well, that's why the novels are so good, because you get to see that behind-the-scene thought process. So good.
Absolutely.
So we got
Without
your canon.
Without the novels and expanded works, Star Wars is half as good.
Oh, yeah. If that. Come on now.
Ooh, yeah.
There's a lot of good books out there. There's only 7 movies. There's a lot of good books.
Yeah. So Bloodlines and Lords of the Sith kind of balancing out for your favorite canon. What about Legends books? Novels.
There's a right and a wrong answer.
All right. Darth Plagueis, definitely. The Bane trilogy.
Yes. You hit it. The Bane trilogy is stunning. Go ahead and tell me why.
Especially the duels.
Yes.
Great. Perfect.
Drew Karpyshyn, one of our favorite authors of all time.
And our favorite episode we ever did.
We interviewed him and we asked him we asked him kind of the background of the Bane series, how he came up with Bane, why he went to different places. And if you don't know, he also wrote Knights of the Old Republic with the Revan.
Sure he knows.
Xbox game.
Xbox.
And he also wrote Mass Effect. So, yeah, getting him on and having him answer our questions was stunning. So, go into detail what you liked about Bane and Plagueis, of course.
Mainly Bane.
I love Bane because he was an advanced thinker. A lot of people accuse him of just being a Revan ripoff, which kind of makes me upset. As far as like what he contributed to the Sith, but his way of thinking, very interesting. How he took everything to an extreme. He saw the flaws of the Sith Empire, and he didn't want to deal with it. And at the same time, I love heroes that start in low places, but the only thing I love more than a hero that starts in a low place is a villain that starts in a low place.
Yep.
And Bane, to be abused by his father, to grow and be just like a lowly miner on a world, to be forced to run away and join the Sith Empire to become not a Sith Lord, but the Dark Lord, like the Sith Lord. You can't start lower and end higher. And on top of that, everyone says, even myself, Palpatine took the Empire. Palpatine is the one that had the Empire rise. But no, Bane did it.
Bane set it up, yeah.
Bane is he's arguably the best Legends character.
Yeah.
Definitely one of my favorite Sith Lords. The only two Legends characters that I would say rival Bane would be Krayt and Thrawn, obviously, but Thrawn is kind of cheating. That's
interesting. You said Krayt. Okay.
Yeah, Krayt is.
He's a crazy
powerful
character.
I love Krayt.
I hate him, and I probably because I don't know a lot about him, but I've read kind of his general story, and it just doesn't end. He just keeps living.
I was gonna say I've been seeing you post a lot about Krayt lately, and I just don't know enough about him to really comment. One of our good friends, Butterclone, had that entire comic series and was really a big fan of him. But I just have no idea. Besides the mask, I know the mask,
the bone mask. Yeah.
Well, you gotta tell me why you don't like him. Is it just that he never dies?
Again, I know in a very general sense. I did some Wikipedia research on him.
This is the Sith Lord that was a sand person, right?
Well, his parents were sand people.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they were humans, but sand people accepted into the tribe, Tusken Raiders.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And he was alive during the Clone Wars, lived through that. Then he just gets really strong after the Emperor dies, right?
He went to Korriban as a bounty hunter.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he went into a Sith temple, and he was taught by one of the earliest Sith, one of the Dark Jedi.
Ajunta Paul?
Way back. The spirit of one of them, not the actual one.
Ajunta Paul?
Ajunta Paul. Have you ever played KOTOR? Knights of the Old Republic?
A long time ago.
Yes.
You got to play that about 20 more times.
Yeah, I don't know how old you are, but that was when that came out, we played it for probably 2 years straight. I don't remember going outside.
That really kickstarted my Star Wars obsession. It was incredible.
Yeah.
But one of the best parts was when you go to Korriban, there are tombs of Sith Lords, and Ajunta Paul is one and comes back as a spirit. So it's just an inside joke. Mopar always brings the fucking guy
Ajunta Paul.
Ajunta Paul.
So Darth Krayt is learning from Ajunta Paul. He goes to Korriban, learns from him.
Yeah.
He's a bounty hunter at this point. Continue the story.
He basically, his only goal is to kill Vader and Palpatine because he was a Jedi. Order 66 happened. He gets depressed. He wants to kill...
I would too.
Yeah, exactly. He wants to kill the Sith. So the way that he determines that he's going to be able to do that is he has to become a Sith. Like, that's the only conceivable way he can do it.
Okay, Revan.
Right.
But when he leaves the temple on Korriban, the Sith are gone. Luke took out the Sith. It's over. And so Krayt is pissed.
He wanted to do it.
And then he gets depressed even further, and he just decides to go into the unknown regions. And this comes one of my favorite quotes in all of Star Wars. Krayt says, "This is where I discovered unknown does not mean empty." And he encounters the Yuzhong Vong, and they do experiments on him. They take his arm, they take his eye, they implant Vong corals into him. And then on top of that, they deem him unworthy to become their master's apprentice. They deem him unworthy. And he gets even more just angry and powerful, and he breaks free. And that's when he goes back to Korriban, finishes his training, and is calling out to the rest of the Sith to come to him. And this is the period where a lot of the Sith kind of go away in the galaxy, and the Jedi are fighting with the Vong that are coming, and Luke is kind of weary, like, where are the Sith? Like, there's something not right here. And Crate is tormenting Jason Solo at the same time. Inadvertently, Jason Solo is getting visions of a dark man, and Luke is getting visions of a dark man. And to me, I've always seen Crate as the main villain of Star Wars. Like, his story just spans all that time. Like, Palpatine and Crate, those are the two guys that really are the main villains. Like, everyone else is, I don't want to say trickle down, because of course you have characters like Vader, which is amazing, but it all stems from, oh my gosh.
You said Vader, the dogs went wild.
Oh. That literally sounds like my dog, and I thought it was my dog. It sounds exactly the same. So, timeline-wise,
he doesn't die.
Crate is biding his time throughout the original trilogy and training, and when he's ready to go, he realizes that Luke already killed Emperor.
Well, he's in the prequels, too. He's alive during the Clone Wars.
But his whole time when he's on Korriban, though, is that throughout the original trilogy?
Yes.
Timeline?
Well, he's a bounty hunter for a lot of it.
Okay.
But he placed himself in stasis. That's how he was able to live for so long.
Wow.
Cryogenically frozen next to Austin Powers.
I was just going to say, like Dr. Evil.
Oh, man. So, Bane. Let's get back to Bane. So, you said Bane's on point with Crate and Thrawn. Close to.
Speaking of Bane, Kerner just brought something up, too. He wants to know about Bane and his canon. If he is canon, because he's in the Clone Wars at the end. So, what does that mean for his entire story? Do we have to completely ditch it? Because, we have the Legends banner on the novels now.
Well, I mean, at that point, you would have to just say Bane exists and he's a Dark Lord, because that's what Yoda calls him. Outside of that, you can't take anything.
Right.
Stupendous is pissed. His dogs went crazy.
Yeah, I am. Just give me 1 second.
No problem, man.
I will literally be back in 5 seconds.
I can feel your anger.
Makes him stronger.
Gives him focus.
We did that backwards. Oh, man. I'm so happy that he said Bane.
Yeah.
Darth Bane series.
Yeah. That's amazing. I'm going to bring up Dooku when he comes back, too.
When he comes back, too.
If he comes back. Ooh.
If he comes back. If he comes back.
Oh my gosh.
I'm still struggling. Oh, you're on the last sip of yours.
Yeah.
It's almost hurting my stomach to sour, man.
I was just dreaming. I was waiting to get to this arrogant bastard to clear my mouth out. So
you're going to clean your mouth out with,
I'm ready.
With the bastard.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. We got to bring up...
so different.
Bring up the questions that people have for Stupendous and us.
That's next, too. He said 5 seconds, but his sense of time is off.
He must be on galactic time.
Must be time traveling.
10 parsecs.
I'll be back in 5 parsecs. 12! We'll get that those questions ready to go. Actually,
I'm sorry about that, guys.
Oh, no problem,
9
man.
o'clock at night, people knocking on my door.
That's all good. We left off. We were going to ask Kerner. Lord Kerner had a question about Bane. Since he makes a slight, subtle cameo in Clone Wars, what does that mean for his story and his character in the canon?
Is that for me? My question?
Pretty much, because we don't know anything, so it's for you.
It doesn't mean much, unfortunately.
Basically,
Canon
that he exists, he's a Dark Lord, and that's where it ends.
Yep, he created the rule of 2, because Yoda says that. Big deal, actually. and he existed, and there we go.
Dude, you got to think how terrible and how awesome that feels for Drew Karpyshyn. You created this character. They said, yeah, no, everything's not real. By the way, he's kind of real.
And he created a rule of two.
And they slide him right in there, and they allow, his rule of two to bleed into the canon, which is awesome.
So, and that says to me that they're not saying goodbye to Darth Bane.
I think that means they're not saying goodbye to the Old Republic.
Yes.
Like
I think overall, and what we've seen, and when we were talking about last week, Stupendous, you can chime in if you know anything about Sate Pestage, but we were chatting mad fan theories about him on the last episode. And because of that, it gives me hope that when they're calling everything Legends, it's so that it can rework these characters into the canon story
Not
in
that
the
they
right
don't
way.
exist. Yeah.
Not that they don't necessarily exist. So, yeah, Bane's cameo in Clone Wars gives me hope that at a later time he will pop into canon, or at least the story of him can pop into canon.
Yeah, a Bane anthology film would work perfectly. It give us the history of the Sith, which they're purposefully withholding that from us, is the history and backstory of the Sith. Give us a Bane's anthology. Give it.
Now, do it.
Exactly. Do
No,
it.
we completely agree.
We've been dreaming about that forever, man.
It's stunning how much they listen to the fans, and then they just laugh in our faces and say, we're going to give you a damn Han Solo film because we need more of him, and we're going to leave Bane on the table over here. It's like, I get it, Han Solo, it'd be cool to know more about him, but no, let's move on. It's such an open book. They can go to the Old Republic and just start creating characters around Bane. Like, just say Bane exists, make it around him. It doesn't even have to be Drew's direct story. Just make Bane, make him come up with the rule of two. Create a story, damn it! Do it!
Absolutely.
So mad.
It all comes down to marketability.
Yeah.
Why do we have a Rogue One movie? Because people recognize the Death Star. They recognize Darth Vader. They recognize TIE fighters.
So do you think Disney is quickly, and not even in a bad way, but they might start diluting Star Wars because they're just, Disney's Disney. They're there to make money. And they're obviously within the past year and a half have just been pumping out content. Do you think it's a bad thing, a negative thing for Star Wars, for how much content that's going to be pushed out?
No.
More content's good content.
There's a big problem there, though. They're definitely diluting this time period. Why are we stuck in this 50-year period, basically?
Exactly.
I think it's kind of difficult. It's hard for them because they pick up Star Wars and they want to create something new. What do you have to do? Well, let's get rid of the EU. Okay, fine. But then the first movie they make is based basically off of Han Solo and Leia's kids. Are you kidding me? And I'm just happy, and it sounds terrible, I'm happy Han's dead. Get his old moldy ass off the screen. He didn't even want to be in episode 6. Get him out of there.
And they want to be in episode 5.
It's like, they're burning out all the dead wood. They lit the fire of the Star Wars characters, and they're burning out all the old burned characters. It's fine. And I'm happy they at least set a setting of characters. We have Kylo, we have Rey, we have Finn, we have Poe.
Yeah, the new characters are
all of a sudden it's starting to get interesting. But let's keep referring back to Leia. Yeah. And Chewbacca's going to be in every other shot. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the fucking Falcon's back. Like,
ship hasn't flown in years.
It doesn't work, but we're going to jump in and fly it perfectly. Oh, my God. We love Star Wars.
I actually don't have a big problem with all that stuff. I think that The Force Awakens did a fantastic job utilizing the old cast. Really great. They're in it just enough, in my opinion at least. They're in it just enough that you're satisfied, with the exception of Luke, obviously. but it's not their story, if that makes sense.
No,
100%. Yeah, we agree. We're being a little too critical, and it's not because of episode 7 itself. It's because of, like you said, they're spending so much time in this particular time period.
Just as like a reference point.
Yeah.
I would say the time period that I don't like is the span between a year after Return of the Jedi to, let's say, it begins basically like 7 years before A New Hope. Like that's the period I'm talking about, like a 30, more like 40-year period. Like that's where everything is really taking place. That I'm
like the Darth Vader years.
Sorry.
Just like the Darth Vader years.
Yeah.
Blasphemy.
The Darth Vader and the year after that, but we have Rebels and we have the Thrawn book and we have Tarkin and Lords of the Sith.
Exactly. But you got to think along the whole galactic span of time. Even if you take 100-year span from the Plagueis book all the way up to episode 8, even that entire timeline is minuscule compared to the entire galaxy. So even though we're getting a good mix of things, it's still just like you mentioned earlier about the marketability about the movie, and which made the story of Rogue One an easy choice for them to make a movie about. I get that. The Death Star's in it, Star Destroyers are in it, X-Wings are in it. It makes sense. But I'm torn because it's the biggest pop culture anything that's ever existed. You can make any Star Wars movie, and if it's good, it's going to be successful. Whether it's a brand new cast, whether it includes the old cast, it doesn't matter. Like you're at that point where you can do whatever the hell you want. Why are you still stuck in this zone?
Well, I think they might just be going through a phase. I honestly think they're going through like a burnout period. We have the old characters, which we love The Force Awakens. Don't get me wrong, but I think they're really they set that movie up to phase them out quickly. Han's dead. Yeah. Chewie's still a co-pilot. Leia's mad, as always. And Luke hasn't even said a word yet.
Right.
But that's fine because it worked so well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that they needed to make that. That's what I'm trying to say. I think they needed to make that to say, hey, this is where we are. This is where these characters are. These are these new characters. Point A. This is where we're starting.
Yes.
Now the offshoot standalone movies.
That's where I'm going from.
That is where you can go anywhere. You can go anywhere. Yeah. And you were still there. You're still there.
Right.
Oh, it's so frustrating. Why does it have to be saga? Oh, we'll do this in between the sagas of the... And it's just like...
Skywalker.
Yeah.
On this, mark my words here.
Uh-oh. Let me get a pen.
The Han Solo movie is a mistake.
Do you think it's going to be bad, though?
No, but I do think it is a mistake. There's a difference.
Tell me why.
It's a mistake because it shows fear in Disney.
Yes.
They killed Han Solo, and what do? You immediately bring him back. If we can't have Harrison Ford, we can still have Han Solo.
God, I didn't even think about that.
I didn't even think about that.
You
Keep
just
going.
made me even pissed.
Keep going. Keep going.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's such a horrible sign. It shows such fear in the people that are running it.
Yeah.
And I love them. The stuff that they've put out so far, a lot of it, 90% has been quality content. There's parts of Rebels that aren't great. There's parts of the books that aren't great. They're not Jar Jar Binks. But most of it's really good. But this Han Solo thing, it just shows fear. It shows that they're unwilling to take a jump that I see Marvel took.
Mm-hmm.
No one knew about Iron Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, and I know that it's
Doctor
Disney,
Strange.
Yeah, exactly, Doctor Strange. They need to understand that there is just as much, if not more, interest in the aspects of Star Wars as there are in those Marvel characters. And I just so much. I despise the idea that they kill Han Solo off and then they immediately commission a Han Solo movie. It's such a gigantic mistake. It shows such fear.
Yeah.
Well, you know what
we were
fear
talking
leads
about
to?
anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
Exactly.
Suffering leads to a bunch of money that Disney's going to make because they don't give a damn.
I don't think that movie's gonna make as much money as they think it will.
Yeah, I think true Star Wars fans are just... I keep going back to the word burnt out. We're burnt out on this timeline. We're burnt out on Han Solo. Why? And
They're probably scared.
I'm even interested in the backstory of what they're going to create behind Han Solo. I think it would be better as a simple novel.
Yeah.
Just make a novel of that. Done. Now let's go somewhere else. Oh.
Like I said, I will be absolutely shocked if the film is not a quality product. The people behind it,
will still be
quality.
good.
The actors that they have so far are
Right.
quality. It's just not. It's the definition of not necessary.
Right. That's best way to say it. Yeah.
Hold on, I'm still writing all this down.
They're probably they're probably especially scared. Well, here's a topic that we can get your opinion on too. It feels to us like they are completely blackballing the prequel era on every single level that they possibly can.
They're not referring to it.
They're not mentioning it. They're not. Yeah. So they're probably scared that they don't want to get into the territory of ruining, quote unquote, the franchise with another prequel movie or series of prequel movies. So they're sticking with what's safe. Like you said, it's just a mistake.
Yeah.
They're playing it too safe.
A month ago, I would have totally agreed with that statement, but there are a few glimmers of hope that I see. They announced a Yoda prequel comic,
Right.
which is a glimmer of hope.
Right.
A Maul prequel comic, which is another little bit of a flicker. And
That's a
then,
mistake too, though. There's so much
Jimmy-
mall content.
Yeah, that's a good point. But for me, the appeal of that comic is not Maul. The appeal of the comic is learning about the canon Sith, finally, because
Yep.
we have next to no insight of that era of Sith.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then, dang it, what was the last one? Oh, Jimmy Smits being cast in Rogue One as Bail Organa. Those are glimmers that I think what happened is they just assumed that everyone hated the prequels, and the prequels are not good movies. They're fantastic lore building films.
Yep.
But they're more like, they almost feel more like a documentary than actual like entertaining films, which is so bizarre. But
Yeah, we were talking about that. I believe it was episode 84, but how the original trilogy has a lot of mystery surrounding it. The prequels went the other direction and tried to explain everything that they could explain.
Yeah,
all the worlds, all the lore, the Jedi
species.
Council, species. And it worked in terms of like super fan perspective, but it also kind of backfired.
yeah, exactly. You have to have all the strings to appreciate the prequels, and even the Phantom Menace. That's for me. I would go as far to say I hate that film.
Whoa!
I would never.
Yeah.
I would never say it.
I have said that. I would say our first 40 episodes, I probably did say that, but I've watched the prequel movies frequently over the past like 6 months, and I've enjoyed episode 1 and 3 a lot more than I used to.
So what?
A lot more.
What ended up happening for me was I finally, for whatever reason, I hadn't seen the Matrix movies. I watched the first Matrix movie, and then okay, fine, it was cool, whatever. And then I watched episode 1 and realized that's the same year. I think they're within a year of each other.
99.
Episode 1 was stunning next to the Matrix in almost every aspect. The action, the CG, even outside of like the characters, but the acting was terrible, obviously. But
Not even all the acting though.
No,
Child
pretty
Anakin's
mu-
annoying. Padme
much all
cries
the
the whole time.
acting.
the acting's pretty bad. I don't even like Ewan in that.
Ewan?
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McDonald.
My problem with the Phantom Menace is there's one character in the whole movie.
But he's the only human that can do it.
No, like there's one character in that whole movie, and that character is Jar Jar Binks. Everyone else is nothing.
The
Everyone
screen
else is
time of
blank.
Jar Jar is unforgivable.
True. I will not deny that.
But I think the movie on a whole still works. The setting's weird because they're talking about trade disputes. Why the hell am I watching this movie? Oh, there's a child that doesn't have a father. Now we have the Jesus child character who doesn't have a
It was
dad.
a really bad way to set up the political cloak and dagger setting of the prequel trilogy.
Like we said, they just shoved so much stuff in front of you, explained so much stuff that you're wondering why you're even watching this. They're not asking any questions. They're not leaving you. You already know what's going to happen.
True.
This little blonde-haired Toys R Us kid's going to become that big Darth Devil Vader.
He doesn't want to grow up. He's a Tatooine kid.
He's a Tatooine kid. Oh my God! So I have a question for you.
I don't want to show them prequels all night. So.
I have a question, which we touched on, I think, last episode, and it's about the Force as a whole.
Yeah.
How does the Force choose, or does it choose? Does it have a
method,
a mental? I don't know. Is it? Can it?
It's hard to explain because it's so esoteric.
Yeah. The question's just screwed. But how does it choose who's going to be strong, who's not, who's going to be force sensitive? Like where? Because my issue is with the Clone Wars, they had that like 2-3 episode span of they landed on this like crazy planet with the father, the dark side, and the light side siblings. From there, it's like, why did you just explain the Force as humanoid characters?
Right.
That destroys the mystery and the wonder of Star Wars. So I'm getting pissed, okay? So I guess on a general sense, how do you think the Force chooses who's strong, who's not, and who's Force sensitive?
I don't think that those characters are very much, they represent the Force, but it's not as big and impactful as it seems in the episode. In the episode, it seems like that's where the Force has originated from, and that's not correct. They're just three very, very old beings that it kind of feels like they're some of the first ones to experience the full potential of the Force, if that makes sense. But the Force priestesses, if you remember them, they actually reside on a planet called the Force Planet. Like, that's just what it's referred to in canon.
Wait, is that the ones that Yoda talks to get into the Sith temple?
Uh-huh, yeah.
Right before he meets Darth Bane. Yeah, okay.
And that's... Yoda thinks, or it's suggested, that is the planet where the Force originated from, the midichlorians. That the ones is what they call the family. That's not the origin of the Force. That's just a group of individuals that have tapped into it extremely effectively, and they're very old, and they kind of live in a dimension parallel to the Star Wars one. It's super confusing.
Is it because they became one with the Force?
No, in Legends, it's so much more clear. In Legends, that's set up for Abeloth. In Legends, that's set up for the main villain, basically the last big villain Luke fights. But in canon, it's just perplexing because it's not set up for Abeloth unless it is, like, down the line, but I don't see them doing an Abeloth thing.
As much as I want them to explain everything, sometimes I like that it doesn't make, like, the Force is there. It doesn't originate from some people. Some clan didn't tap into it and distribute it across the galaxy. Like, it's just a part of what the galaxy is.
Well, it's got to be a part of that galaxy alone because of the Yuzhong Vong come in.
Right,
and
which makes sense, which is fine.
Yeah.
That's actually interesting. I believe that they retconned that the Yuzhong Vong came from a galaxy without the Force.
Yeah.
That's a super common misconception, actually. They were ravaging and destroying worlds, and when they returned to their home world, it cut itself off from the Force's punishment. So they don't really, and that was retcon because fans threw up their hands and said, "What a galaxy without the Force! What are you guys talking about?" And that's what happened. So the retcon
New
is,
ideas. What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. So the retcon is that they resided on a planet without the Force, not that they come from a place without the Force, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, Bane goes to Bane ends up on a world that's negate of the Force.
Yeah.
I forget which book it is. I think it's the second one, but yeah, I guess, I mean, that makes sense because it's existed in other places, but I just, on a large scale, I feel like it's a give and take between living beings and the Force. I feel like living beings do stuff and the Force reacts. Like, Sidious comes to power, but the Jedi become overwhelmingly blind and limited in their own ways, and they get lost in their own, basically, corruption of their own laws. And all of a sudden, the Force feels that and just plants Anakin.
Now, Anakin was made by the Sith, actually.
See,
In
everyone
Legends.
says that.
I'm
and
still
I've read-
vague on the
I've read-
Plagueis created him, Sidious created him. He popped up randomly. He's Jesus.
They didn't. They inadvertently created him. They knocked over the domino that knocked up Shmi. Let's put it like that.
That's amazing.
I love it.
But I mean, I read Plagueis and I got all the way through it, and I didn't get a hint of them doing that. I felt like they tried
Really?
and failed. I thought they failed. And because they failed, the Force was like, blup, well, here's this kid, and he's actually going to kill you. He's going to end up destroying you.
The midichlorians got mad, basically. And
They were pissed?
said, don't do this. Don't try and create something that's not natural. That's our job in midichlorian speak.
Don't try it.
Don't try it.
Yeah, like Anakin was like
He was a reaction, like, sperm.
yeah, it was a reaction. It was a consequence, a punishment.
Well, that's why. I guess we're just coming from the two different angles. I assumed because they didn't like the EU story that I heard was they actually had a ritual and planted the seed. And then I read Plagueis and didn't get any of that. And I assumed that they failed and the Force just kind of, like we said, kind of just got angry that they were trying to mess with midichlorians and was just like, here's your demise. Even if you take him over and do whatever, he's still going to throw you down that big furry chute.
Yep.
Yeah, their intention was never to create life. It was to
prolong.
Yeah, it was to send their energy throughout space. It was to send the dark side throughout space. And they succeeded. They actually succeeded in what they wanted to do, but the Force still... And that's why the Jedi talk about, like, their visions clouded. That's what happened, is Sidious and Plagueis did a big ritual that clouded the vision. But Anakin was kind of like a byproduct of that.
I mean, we're saying the same
Goes
thing.
deep, man.
Yeah.
Goes deep.
I still think that the Force just reacts. It creates things, sees what happens, and then if things go way out of balance, it does something.
Mm-hmm.
I think people get powers, items become empowered. Like, it's just, you never know. And I think with the whole Episode 7 being called The Force Awakens, I think after the Emperor and Vader died, the Force is in such a flux that it doesn't even know what's going to happen. Like, the dark side just died. Outside of Darth Krayt, because he never fucking dies. But but it took such a hit. It's like I said, it's like throwing a rock into a pond. It's just boom, and it's rippling, and you don't know where and how it's going to settle. You don't know its effects.
Yeah.
So I think Episode 7 kind of created an opportunity, and I think that's why what a lot of people didn't understand. They wanted answers out of Episode 7. We got a mystery out of Episode 7 because who's Snoke? Who's Rey? What's Luke doing? Why is Leia still complaining?
Wanting answers gets you the prequels. And if you're going to bitch about the prequels,
No,
then
I
you're not
agree.
going to get answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole thing behind Kylo. People are just mad
I just
that he's
summed up Star Wars fandom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are
The
so
whole
mad
bring
about
balance to the Force thing.
Yeah.
That is very up to interpretation.
Yeah.
In universe, people argue over that.
Right. That's why it's so compelling, too.
Exactly. Bring balance, and I actually have a video planned discussing all the different beliefs on what it means. But some people believe that it's the light and the dark, and that bring balance means that you have to have the Sith and the Jedi, which is kind of explained why in Dark Empire, when Palpatine comes back via a clone.
God, stop. No, you're fine. I just finished that. It, and I was just disgusted. Go ahead.
Yeah, you hated it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was so weird. It was so weird just to see. So the Dark Empire.
Wait, he's got to finish this whole thought.
Do it.
Well, basically, after Vader dies, it's basically saying that it's the Jedi and the Sith, and now that's balance, and they're left to just slug it out, if that makes sense. And then also balance means, because some individuals believe that the light is the pure state of the Force, and dark is like a messed up version of it. It's a perversion, and that in its purest state, it's light. So that's what they think balance is that it's back in the light. There's just a ton of different interpretations on it.
It's where you put the pendulum, or the what's the the fulcrum.
I don't know.
That's what it in like a teeter-totter, the fulcrum's the middle.
I failed science.
Well, if you say the fulcrum's all the way to the light, then that's the balance. I'm getting really scientific.
If you say it's over there, yeah.
No, but that's I understand what you're saying. I just can't talk about it.
Well, that brings up the whole issue of why Palpatine wanted to bring down the Jedi in the first place. Because the Jedi decided, from their point of view, the light side was the balance. But who's to say that the dark side itself isn't the balance? And who's also to say that actual balance isn't the balance?
So
that's where it starts to get screwy.
Okay. So Commander and I have not argued, but we've punched each other over this. He said that maybe Sidious really thought he was doing good. And I'm like, absolutely no way. He knew he was evil.
It's just a certain point of view.
Now, meeting certain means, like he was using the dark side to kill people to get the power. Yeah, obviously. But he knows he's evil. I don't see any which way that he's good. Go ahead.
The Sith could care less about the spiritual aspects of that stuff. They could care less what balance means. The Sith are selfish creatures. They care about themselves, and they care about the power that they can achieve. All that spiritual stuff, no, they don't. They just don't care.
So then that's the struggle on Vader. Because he actually thinks he's doing good. I still think even suited Vader, under the rule of Palpatine, thinks he's doing the best for the galaxy.
Sometimes.
Well, he becomes more wise throughout the years and kind of realizes, but
sometimes he's just so twisted that he's letting out his hate. But yeah, sometimes he does think he's doing the right thing.
I think on a core level, and that's why he was able to be saved at the end of 6. I think he thought he was doing good. And then as he met Luke and listened to him, he's like, dude, Luke's the light.
The green lightsaber's tight, man.
I don't think I don't think he thought he was doing good. I think, like you said, sometimes, not the majority of the time, sometimes I think he was just doing it in his mind for the needs of the many, as like the whole galaxy outweigh the needs of the few. And in his mind, that was like, I'm just going to crush the few with my iron fist for the good of the many.
But
like a very evil Commander Shepard.
Yeah.
Seriously.
But, I mean, on a large scale, isn't that you think you're doing good? Because where he grew up was the Clone Wars. Everything around him was crumbling. People were dying. The galaxy's at war. If I just rule with an iron fist, there's peace to an extent. Of course, Jedi are dying, and sympathizers of the Jedi are dying. But okay, kill off 1,000 Jedi, trillions live.
But the 99% of the galaxy
lives
are safe. Yeah.
Yeah, they're scared of fear of Vader's.
That's not their biggest motivator. Their biggest motivator is their own power and then keeping it. The galaxy comes second to that.
Oh, I think Vader's the exception. I'm just saying. I think Vader is the exception because he is the Force. He is midichlorians.com/I'm right. Dude. Oh, I get
it's tough.
I agree with the whole. Yeah, I mean it's kind of given. The Sith are self-centered creatures. They want power, and they're going to get it any way they can. I still think Vader. Of course, he wanted to rule as just Vader. Learn all you can from the Emperor, kill him. Now it's mine. But I still feel because of what's happened at the end of 6. That I feel like at some point he would just step away. I don't feel like he would just sit there on the throne and rule for no reason. Because he still had that good in him. I think he would have got to the point where he could have taken Palpy out and then set something up and then just left. Because he's got nothing else to live for. He has no family.
A lot of it too is I think that he just saw himself as too far down the rabbit hole to turn back.
Yeah, I know that's a very good argument. I like it. I don't agree with it because I'm pissed, but no, I agree. I do agree with that. Yeah, he's just done too much evil stuff. Killed Mace, got his girl pregnant, didn't tell anybody about it, and then he killed a bunch of younglings.
Beautiful thing is so much about. Back to your point 2 episodes ago about the original trilogy. It keeps things very open to speculation.
And that's what the Star Wars fans live for. Is this sitting here yelling at each other behind mics.
What the hell else would you write articles about if there was no speculation?
I mean, honestly, I'd be in bed sleeping right now if I didn't have this. But no. Let's get to a couple like direct questions that we had on Twitter and everything.
So especially for you, Stupendous, we had a lot of people giving us some questions. I pulled a few. Let's pull through a few of these here. So we got at Cleo _Ren on Twitter. Snoke isn't a Sith, so what does that mean for the future of the dark side in terms of Snoke and Kylo and how they're kind of carrying on their reign of terror of the dark side?
Man, that is such a hard question. The Sith are gone. I don't think that they'll be bringing them back. They introduced a new type of the dark side with these new movies, and that's the whole thing that a lot of people don't realize. And I'm talking about casual fans, but the Sith are not the dark side, just as the Jedi are not the light side.
Right.
Just because the Sith are gone, the dark side is always going to be there, and it's going to come back in different forms.
Right.
Like in Legends. The Sith did eventually come back, but they had the Yuzhong Vong, and they kind of used the Force a little bit. But then you had Abeloth, which was an entity. And what I'm getting at is they introduced other dark side sects that weren't the Sith, which I think is how it's going to go. We're going to get something crazy similar to the Sith, probably. But the Sith, it's like a religion. That's what it is, basically.
Right.
The Sith is a religion. But just because that religion to a T is gone does not mean that we're going to have weak villains that are nothing like the Sith. Of course, Kylo proved that. He's a very Sith-esque. But the Sith themselves, I hope that they stay gone because, unfortunately, the prequels wrote that thing where he brings balance to the Force. That's just unfortunate that happened, that it was even written that way. Because Vader should never have been like a Christ thing. It just should not have been that.
That's true.
But yeah, I don't see a problem with the Sith staying gone, and I think they will.
I think they could go into a very interesting direction with this. Because when we think dark side, we think lightsabers and Force users.
Yeah.
What what if someone, I mean, in a general sense, like almost like a non-Force user were to be influenced by the dark side? Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't know a lot about Thrawn. Was Thrawn Force sensitive?
No.
I feel like they could introduce someone like, well, even though they just made a Thrawn book, but they could introduce someone like a Thrawn who is greatly influenced by the dark side, but isn't like
doesn't use it, isn't Force sensitive.
Yeah, but it's like he's like almost like a prophet of the dark side, and he can like hear its thoughts or something like something crazy like that. I'm just saying, when we think of Force, we think of Force powers, and when we think of Force powers, we think Jedi in battle.
Yeah.
Or Sith in battle, or whatever you want to say. I think they could go in a crazy direction where like average beings are being influenced by the dark side, even though they can't like control or use the Force.
But based on our earlier conversation about the Han Solo movie, do you think they're going to take that risk? Go ahead, Stupendous.
Well, Lorsan Tekka, if you remember him from The Force Awakens, the guy Kylo Ren kills in the beginning.
Yeah.
You're so right.
He's not Force sensitive, but he is a, what do they call it?
Old
they
guy.
call it the Church of the Light, I think. So he's kind of that. Yeah.
So it's like more of like a religion, like a monkey.
Yeah, he's a wannabe Jedi. He's a Jedi fanboy.
Okay.
That's what
Interesting.
I love that.
Yeah, I think
they have a lot of opportunities.
I think the book is open. And the scary thing about what I just thought about and what I just created behind that, who do you attack? Who's the enemy in that setting that I just created?
Maybe
the
there
dark
doesn't have
side's
to be
just
an enemy.
influencing populations to do bad things.
Well, it doesn't make for a good movie plot, but maybe there doesn't have to be an enemy.
Dude, that's terrifying in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
There's always a clear, even if there's not a clear.
Well, it's storytelling and movie making.
Yeah.
Good guys, bad guys,
Done.
do your thing.
This
You know
is what
I mean?
these people have to do. If you put it into, you couldn't even make a movie about that.
Right. It would
How do
be
you
more
end it?
of a reference book or a novel or something that everyone would hate, but the real fans would actually enjoy.
Gosh. It's difficult to think about the Force without lightsabers. And I think it is. It's so embedded in that culture, and you gotta just remember: throw the lightsaber away and whip out a blaster. You're still a Jedi, or you're still a Sith. But we don't like. You could use Force lightning, and a repeating blaster. Why not? And just direct every blast in everybody's hearts. Done. It's like that ancient. It's the George Lucas in Star Wars that created something from like a history.
Yeah.
From these old like samurai people and this old ancient way of thinking, and he created this. So it's so embedded in Star Wars. I think it'd be difficult to get away from that.
Right.
I don't know. Next question.
Oh man, it goes deep, man. It's crazy.
Let us know if you got to leave and feed your dogs or do what you need to
Answer
do.
the door or anything.
Answer the door at 10 p.m.
This one's a little goofier. At Eric Mello9 on Twitter, Eric with a K. Do any of us own lightsabers? Stupendous. I'd have to guess that you do. I think I have one or two of my old ones at my parents' house, but with me right now, I don't own any. I'm out.
When I was a kid, I remember going to, I believe, Disneyland, and my grandfather actually bought me, like, I don't know if you've been there, but you can design your own lightsaber.
Yeah. Okay.
And you couldn't buy a Darth Maul lightsaber. Like, they didn't make one. So you had to go there and actually build it. And I built one, and I believe I still have it, but I haven't, like, gotten it out or anything. I'm more about, like, learning about stuff rather than collecting all that stuff, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I just that's $1 million idea. Instead of Build-A-Bear, build a lightsaber and just have people come up, make them different colors, different hilts,
or build any Star Wars thing.
Yeah,
mask, blaster.
Yep, they have one of those things at Disneyland, and I remember Being so excited getting that Darth Maul lightsaber because no one else was going to have one.
That's awesome. I know you had a bunch. Do you have them here? They're at your parents' house, right?
No, that stuff's gone.
Gone?
Is it gone?
I had a Darth Maul and I had an Obi-Wan, and I don't know if they're still there. Or
I don't know.
Fell down the fucking rabbit hole.
It depends on who they call to.
They're both red by this point.
I also remember as a kid having like those little baseball bats, but like softer ones. I don't know what you call them, but I specifically remember after seeing Attack of the Clones messing around in the front yard pretending I was Yoda. Because he jumped around and it was just crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. I do have that childhood memory.
Awesome. Here's one that ties well into the mystery of The Force Awakens. At K Holloway 658, what happened to Vader's lightsaber after Return of the Jedi? So when I first read this, I instantly thought, well, Obi-Wan had Vader's lightsaber, and now Rey has it. But I wasn't thinking about the lightsaber that Vader loses when Luke cuts his hand off in the Death Star 2 in Return of the Jedi. So then my mind started wandering, and no idea what happened to it.
In Legends, it was destroyed pretty much. Yeah, they just say it was destroyed. But in canon, the Acolytes of the Beyond, who I believe are the Knights of Ren, or an early iteration of the Knights of Ren, believe that they purchase Darth Vader's lightsaber from a junker. But I'm under the impression that, and it's never made clear that that's Darth Vader's. It's just sold as Darth Vader's weapon. And even in the end of the chapter, someone that works with the junker asks him if that's really Vader's weapon, and he says, even I don't know. I'm under the impression that it's not, and that it was just sold as such, but that's just kind of a thing that's introduced. Because I don't see any conceivable way that thing made it.
Right, yeah. Unless somebody grabbed it out of that pit, which Palpatine was the only one in that pit, it got blown up with the Death Star.
Yeah, it blew up.
Yeah,
That's
someone grabbed it out of the pit like 5 minutes before the whole station exploded.
Right. Yeah, it's not really feasible, right?
So I have a quick, since we were talking about lightsabers, I was reading that magazine that I was pissed about a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
But it has a lot of like interesting facts in there, and there was a couple of them in there that I didn't know. Did you guys know that both lightsabers used in Jedi were repurposed from the prior movies? Vader used Luke's lightsaber from Empire, and Luke's new lightsaber was originally Obi-Wan's from A New Hope.
Right.
I
always wondered why Vader's new red lightsaber looked just like Anakin's old blue lightsaber. I assumed he just wanted the same fucking hilt.
Well, supposedly they lost Vader's lightsabers between movies.
This goes back to that thing that we were saying, how the production of the movie influences what's going to be canon.
Yeah, what's
real. And of
real.
course, they didn't know about really canon stuff back then.
It was a movie.
But now the stuff like, and a Stupendous, I'm sure you've heard about this, about the whole thing with Poe Dameron was supposed to die, but then he didn't because Oscar Isaac said, no, let me fucking live, please. And now that influenced the entire story of canon.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
Next topic. You ready? Let's do it.
I'm just
We got one.
sorry, that was fucking hilarious. Well, we had some silly one. Darth Dorkelson wants to know if we like grilled cheese sandwiches.
Yes, but I have not had one in forever.
I'm having one in about 10 minutes.
I was gonna say
now
that
you
sounds
said that.
amazing. Grilled cheese and tomato soup, man.
Yeah,
Oh
Okay.
yeah, for sure.
Last one, JPM_2003 on Instagram. What is your favorite Star Wars game? Now, this is something that we've talked about time and time again, and we always come back to KOTOR. But Stupendous, since this is our first time talking to you, what is your favorite Star Wars video game?
I do love KOTOR for the story. Never been so much into the mechanics, not because they're bad by any stretch.
They are bad.
Just because that's not my kind of game.
They're
if
not
that
bad.
Makes sense.
They're terrible.
No, they're not bad.
It's my favorite game.
It's a revolutionary game.
No, yeah, revolutionary
For
and
2003.
terrible.
Oh my god,
Dude. It's my favorite
Dude,
game.
I'm calling Drew and telling him that you said that this game sucks.
Dude, the characters are amazing. The storyline's amazing. The timeline's amazing. Let me attack that guy. Okay, let me slowly jittery.
It's Dungeons and Dragons.
I know, and the style of the game is fine, but the gameplay, attack that guy, and then you press A and just,
Pissed.
Okay, continue your answer. I'm sorry.
I have a ton of childhood memories playing Battlefront 2, so that game will always have a special place.
Oh yeah,
Place with me.
That's
And
perfect.
the
I
first
think.
one as well, but Battlefront 2 is leaps and bounds.
Yeah, I think that's our exact answer. 1 and 2 is KOTOR and Battlefront. By the way, we were arguing
Battlefront 2.
Battlefront 2. Yeah, we were arguing a few episodes ago about, as a general fan consensus, which game is better. And I put a poll up on Twitter, and not everyone, but Battlefront ended up winning. Fans prefer Battlefront over KOTOR.
I think it's more. What do you like better? Like a third-person shooter,
RPG?
or an RPG?
I guess.
I would also think more people have played Battlefront.
Right.
It's more popular, yeah.
Even back then in 2003, playing KOTOR, I remember seeing a demo of it in FYE. Terrible. We couldn't even get out off the Endar Spire. It was impossible.
I don't remember that at all.
It was a terrible game, and I told myself I'm never gonna buy this. Little to no. I fucking love it. Okay. It really sparked.
gosh.
It sparked both of our Star Wars just onslaught.
Yeah.
Once I learned
It really did.
that could happen in Star Wars, the story of Revan,
Yeah.
I was like, I need to know more.
I was a late bloomer, and that really kicked things off. Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that.
What?
I'm also very late bloomer in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I had seen the movies throughout my early teens, but I mean, yeah, they were cool, but I never really gave a damn until I learned about the story of KOTOR.
Let's talk about our little Star Wars history too. So what happened for me is, for whatever reason, I would always rent Empire Strikes Back from the library on VHS. Always would watch it. Mainly would watch the beginning and the Hoth sequence and then stop because I was a little kid and I didn't know any better. My cousins took me to see...
You still don't know any better.
I still have no idea what I'm talking about. My cousins took me to see the special edition of Episode 4 in, what was that, 97? And then they took me again to see The Phantom Menace in 99. 99 was when I was super huge into Legos. Star Wars Legos finally came out. So that kind of started me on my Star Wars
That
journey.
was the fuel.
And then by the time, 4 years later, when KOTOR came out, I was just all in. Yeah. That's kind of how I got started. So I didn't see Episode 5 all the way through and Episode 6 for quite a while.
I don't remember any of it. I don't remember which movie I saw first. I don't think I have ever seen Episode 6.
It all starts at KOTOR.
Yeah, honestly, I can't really remember. Pod Racer.
That was huge too.
The Episode 1 Pod Racer game was a cool game because I had seen Episode 1 and I'm like, oh, I can play a game that's from this movie.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where that ended. But then, KOTOR was my spark. It was just there's actual interesting characters that are outside the movies. I need to know more.
Yeah.
Stupendous, go. Perfect.
I've always had it. As early as I can remember, I saw the Star Wars trilogy. Always had the Star Wars trilogy. Watched them all the time. I do not remember seeing The Phantom Menace in theaters. I remember seeing Attack of the Clones in theaters, thinking Yoda was awesome and thinking the rest of the movie was really boring. I remember seeing Revenge of the Sith in the front row and my mom crying at the end. I specifically remember that. But the original trilogy, even as a kid, I don't know, watching it now, the effects completely hold up. Maybe it's just rose-tinted glasses, but I think that they hold up. And as a kid, I never thought about them not holding up. But I watched those movies all the time. All the time. And Empire has always been my favorite. It will always be my favorite. It's always been there.
Yeah.
As early as I can remember.
I remember after we really got into it, we would go back and you had the VHS set before the special edition, and we would go back and sit there and watch all of the original trilogy before the edits and everything.
I lied because I do remember reading the Young Jedi series with young Obi-Wan
I read that too,
and Qui-Gon.
But that was, again, after I had already gotten into episode 1 and there's Legos and
True.
stuff.
Yeah. True. I think, but that's what I'm saying. In between, like, seeing episode 1 and Pod Racer, I think I was reading that Jedi Knight series, or the Young Jedi series.
Yeah.
Then I got into KOTOR and realized, what am I doing wasting my time with these books? Let me
live some life.
Let me live some life.
So, listeners, if you're hearing this, tweet us, Instagram us, email us. Let us know your Star Wars origin story. How'd you get rolling in the galaxy far, far away?
I'm gonna make an Instagram post tomorrow morning.
Doing it.
Yeah. Why? Now that you mentioned it, we always ask every single one of our guests to put the movies in order.
Oh.
Now I want you to include episode 7, which can be extremely difficult. We know 5's number 1 for you, and we know number 1 isn't even included. Okay, we get it. But go ahead and try to ramble off your
ranking
list.
from
your
favorite to least favorite.
Empire, Jedi, Hope, Revenge of the Sith, Force Awakens, Clone Wars, the Clone Wars movie that they actually released in theaters that was meant for TV, but they did release it in theaters. Attack of the Clones, Phantom Menace.
Nice. So 5, 6, 4, 3, 7, 2, 1. Yeah. We had one dead last for a while. We've changed that in the past like 3 or 4 months.
Number 2 is unwatchable. I can't. I just can't. I just can't. There's at least.
I feel the same way about 1. Like I can watch 2, but 1 is horrid.
I feel like nothing happens in 2. At least 1, like you find the kid. There's like a cool looking pod race. You know, we kind of find out a little bit about like the Jedi Council and how they work. And then there's a cool epic Darth Maul battle. 2 was just
the
like
lightsaber fight is awesome, but everything there's no substance.
Well, I always say the saving grace of 1 is that it still feels like an adventurous Star Wars story, as opposed to 2 is like this awkward sci-fi film noir that doesn't go anywhere. And the clones that are the movie's named after don't show up until the last 20 minutes. The last 25, 30 minutes is awesome.
You know what they should have done and just called the episode 2 The Clone Wars. Because they Attack of the Clones. You're like, dude, this entire movie is going to be a battle. There's going to be clones, blah, blah, blah. And little did you
Clones
know,
are going to take over the galaxy.
Obi-Wan's just acting all furry in the rain.
Talking to his fat diner buddy.
Yeah. Obi-Wan! Like, God.
The Phantom Menace, I can't stand it. I just can't. Darth Maul is not a character.
True.
People like Darth Maul because he looks cool. He has 3 lines.
Thank you. I will give you that. That's why I was so mad when he made a comeback.
And another comeback.
And another comeback.
Oh my God.
I like he made a comeback because he needed to have a character. Like, that's just, he needed to have it.
Impossible. Get him out of here. He died. Let him be dead. You didn't have to give him fucking crab legs.
He's like the best part of Rebels.
Oh.
Him and Rebels is so much better than Clone Wars. I'll say that.
Him in Clone Wars is disgusting.
Yes. And Savage in Clone Wars.
I don't hate him in the Clone Wars. He's not the best, but I think he's awesome in Rebels. He's like an older man, but crazy and trying to appeal to a potential apprentice, and he has such a short fuse, but he's also like, I don't know, like witty.
He's he's in an abandoned child. The Emperor like picked him up, half trained him. Oh, you got cut in half. Next, and then he tries to appeal back to him, like, look what I'm doing, Mr. Emperor, and Palpatine attacks him and kills his brother. I'm like, that's, by the way, one of my most favorite lightsaber fights.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah, 'cause
Savage,
Palpatine
Maul,
is-
and Sidious?
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Oh man.
I've never
Didn't
seen.
stand a
And
chance.
say that again.
They didn't stand a chance.
Oh,
Sidious
but-
could have killed him without a lightsaber.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But it's awesome seeing Sidious dual wield against 3 lightsabers, a double and a single. Are you kidding me? And it's stunning, the movement and the style that Sidious fights in. Oh, it's so good. I watched that over and over. I seriously think, honest opinion, I think that's the best lightsaber fight in all of Star Wars.
Bespin has my heart.
Where Vader throws his lightsaber on the ground and hits him with medical pads and stuff? Is that what you're talking about?
Wait, what? Wait, what?
When he's on Bespin and Vader puts his lightsaber down and just throws like air conditioning units at Luke.
Just tosses luggage at him.
That's impressive. He's throwing those things without any motion. He's using
no.
without emotion. He's
I
using
hear
his-
you. No, it's actually and it's another reason why the Rise of Darth Vader book was so stunning, because right at the end in Tatooine, when Vader kind of floats down, he just starts tearing that Wookiee bridge apart. And starts
Tatooine or
just,
Kashyyyk?
Kashyyyk, I'm sorry. But he just starts impaling. I forget the guy's
People
name.
with the fucking wood.
It's the main Jedi. I forget his name. But yeah, he's just like standing there, and it was from the Jedi's perspective. He's like, dude, this faceless guy. You can't even see emotion. You can't even tell he's pissed. He's just looking at you with dead eyes while he kills you with his mind. You know how just disturbing that is?
Vader!
And that's exactly to Stupendous's point. It's basically exactly what happens on Bespin. He just puts down. He's like, dude, you're not even worth a lightsaber fight. Luke. You're not even worth me raising my arm. I'm just going to think about you being mad. Now you're going to be mad. It's stunning. That's why I think I always fight for Vader.
Always.
I think he's the chained, poked dog that's malnourished, but he finds a way no matter what instance he's put in. There's some crazy
It's like
comic
the Hound
books.
from Game of Thrones.
There's crazy comic books where caves come crashing down on him when he has his helmet off and he's supposed to be destroyed, and he just rises out of it and murders everything. It's like, what?
Yep. And Palpatine's like, "How did you do it?"
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you. Why would I tell you?
He just said, "My hatred."
He doesn't
That's
know.
all it took.
Now, a few episodes ago, I was referring because I re-listened to The Rise of Darth Vader on audiobook, and there was a point where Vader and Sidious were getting in a dispute, and Vader's knelt down on his knee.
A dispute.
Yeah, and Sidious raises up his hands and says, "You know, you messed up, and you know I could just kill you if I just did some Force lightning right now." And Vader stands up, stares at him, and says, "I don't fear death." Boom! That's Vader. Do something, Sidious.
Yerp.
Do something. Even if you kill me, I win. It doesn't even matter.
Yep.
He has nothing left to live for. Oh, he's such an interesting character. Bane's a lot better, though. Continue. Oh, the rants. Do we have any more questions?
No more questions. I'm glad we got your ranking of the movies. Before we get prepped to close out, I want to go over a few news things. I'll save the best for last. A few things that popped up over the last week. Episode 8 has begun scoring by the one and only John Williams.
Jonathan.
So he's getting that ready. And if it's anything like every other movie ever made, they probably won't actually record it until like next October or something. They always wait till the last minute. It's fucking crazy.
He's just writing the score right now?
He started writing the score, yeah.
Okay.
Rogue One, obviously it's coming out 8 days from now on the 15th. The premieres in LA, Saturday, 12/10. They started building a motherfucking X-Wing on the road in front of the red carpet, getting ready for the premiere, which is awesome.
That's all. I mean, it looks stunning, too.
It's incredible.
It looks real.
Have you seen that, Stupendous?
No, I have not.
They, if you just go on Twitter, you're going to see it. They basically they have everything already set up for this weekend, which when you listen to this, on iTunes. It's already going to have happened, but they're building an X-Wing on the street.
Not
full
building.
size.
They flew it in.
They found the fucking thing from Tatooine. It's here.
Yeah, just search. I'm sure X-Wing LA, and it looks stunning. It's life size. It's awesome.
I'd much rather have a tie.
True. I agree. I'm an Imperial fan.
Twin ion engines aren't feasible, okay?
Man,
you can't fly it in.
No one cares, dude. They're cooler.
Did you know twin ion engines actually exist? I think we talked about this. But you can't really turn. You would need twin ion engines in every direction.
Well,
basically
Star Wars though.
Oh yeah. And there's sound. There's sound in space too.
Rogue One has the second highest ticket pre-sale of all time, behind, guess what? Force Awakens. No surprise.
I think that's just a tribute to Disney's marketing scheme. I think they're so good at building
Star Wars. Plus, I don't know how big pre-sales used to be like 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, they weren't really.
I think now that we have like the internet and Fandango, it's a lot more of a big deal. But that's something to note. And finally, most importantly, most rapidly across social media right now, and Stupendous, I want to hear what you have to say about this. The most recent Rogue One teaser had the VCX 100 ship, the Ghost, in the trailer with the Rebel fleet. Do we think the Rebels are gonna from the cartoon are gonna make an appearance in Rogue One? Is it just a teaser?
It's probably just the ship. Not even the ship of the Ghost. It's that style ship, that model.
No, it's probably that's probably the Ghost.
Oh, I hate that you said that.
That's what I asked him.
Tweeted about it.
What'd you say? Go ahead.
Freddie Prinze Jr. tweeted about it.
Well, then it's true.
You didn't know that? He's one of the voice actors for the show.
Oh, I didn't. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
He said, "Could it be?" Question mark.
Well, it's not. So Freddie Prinze Sr., you need to sit down. No, I truly hope they're kind of just referencing as a, hey, I know you've seen that. Check this movie out.
Yeah, like, do you think it's just going to be the Ghost is there in the fleet the same way like the Falcon docked in that little platform on episode 3?
I wholeheartedly think that's exactly what's happening.
They won't make an appearance, pretty sure.
I hope not.
Darth Maul's in the entire movie, though.
Yep.
Darth Maul.
Shut the fuck up. So yeah, everyone's been freaking out about that. It's cool that they're gonna kind of throw him a bone to the show, have that in there. If they made an appearance, it would be annoying. It would kind of spoil the chronology of the cartoon itself. So I don't think they're gonna do that. They're not that desperate for, fan craze.
Tickets.
So,
if you want to give a quick shout out to yourself, plug your stuff, because we want everyone that listens to know where they can find you.
All right. I'm on YouTube. It's just the Stupendous Wave on YouTube, and I try to do daily videos about Star Wars, but most of the time it's pretty. You can bet that if there's not a video every day, it'll be every other day. And we just cover news, a lot of lore stuff. Like we talked about what ifs in the beginning. I do some of those a little bit more sparingly now, but they're still there. And yeah, if you just want anything and everything Star Wars, I try to be that. So yeah, that's basically it.
And make sure you're following him on Twitter too, at Stupendous Wave, because I know you're always answering fan questions on Twitter. People come up with the most, and props to you too for trying to get back to everybody. I see that. People throw out the most ridiculous shit you've ever heard of.
It's barely English.
Like, well, if you had Vader versus Yaddle, who would win? And then you try to get back and actually answer it with like evidence.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
So yeah, that's ridiculous. Mary Poppins against Iron Man. Go. Well, let me tell you about the background story of Miss Poppins.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Awesome. If you guys are local, please remember, before we leave, we need to get Stupendous's opinion on Rogue One, since that's right around the corner.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, good call.
Right around the corner. When you're listening to this, it's going to be probably Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the day or days before.
Right.
So, Stupendous, quickly, what do you expect and what do you hope for on Rogue One? That's enough. Perfect.
I just hope it's quality. I hope that they give us what was been promised. I hope that the reshoots were not as bad as the media made it out to be. I hope that we get a few cool new characters. I hope that it builds on the lore. I'm not expecting anything hugely galaxy shaking, obviously, because we know how everything ends. I just want a cool Vader scene. That's it. That'll
See
be
him
worth the
actually
price of
kill
admission.
someone that's not, his own. What? God, I always forget he came in out of Lightspeed too close.
To the asteroid field.
No, done. I quit. I can never remember the admiral's name.
Admiral Piet.
I know Piet,
Yep.
but outside of that, I don't. Because he puts Piet in charge.
Admiral Ozzel.
Ozzel?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you
Right?
go.
Stupendous?
I would have to double check.
Because Captain Nita is the one that survives, right?
He doesn't kill Piet, does he?
Fuck.
God, we're great fanboys.
I love Star Wars.
He just kills them all, but
All
that's
right,
what I'm
that's
saying. That's the whole
I know.
purpose, and
I
that's
know. I
why
know.
Stupendous and I want to see
And
Vader.
I.
We all want to see Vader do something.
And they.
Them,
All
all
of
of
our
them.
fans said.
It's just, this is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping it's a dark, gritty movie.
Yes.
We really haven't even like, Revenge of the Sith. It's like dark, but it's still on a very high level. Like you have the Jedi and the Sith. We're finally getting into war in the Star Wars universe.
Infantry.
We're going to be seeing
soldiers.
troops on a battlefield against tanks
AT-ATs.
and AT-ATs
Yeah.
on a battlefield.
Yeah.
For a certain reason. We already know where that's going to go, but just to get information.
Yeah. Get down on the ground with them.
And that's, I love how Star Wars pulls from actual history.
Yeah.
It's like the race for the atom bomb.
Yep.
Information is what you're fighting over, because if I get it a week before you, we can make this thing and blow you up. We have a week of freedom
Yep.
so awesome. I'm so ready for it. So
Me
ready
too.
for it.
Not
Awesome.
as excited as I will be for episode 8, but it's Star Wars.
Oh, but I think I'm more excited for this than I was for episode 7.
Really?
That's hard to say because episode 7 it was like a decade.
It was the comeback.
Yeah, it
Right.
was the comeback, but this is a whole new look. A standalone movie. We've never seen it. We
Yeah.
get to see, we know it's been quoted. I don't know what to expect, but we're going to see Darth Vader on the battlefield in all of his violence and power.
Glory.
Hopefully.
Violent glory or something, whatever you said.
Violence was one of the words. I want to see that. I've been waiting 7 freaking movies to see that.
Yeah.
I don't care about Anakin killing younglings that all you do is hear. You don't even see anything. I want to see a nitty gritty dark. I want it.
If that doesn't happen, are you going to be crazy disappointed?
It's hard to say, but probably.
It's very difficult to say because it's probably still going to be a great movie.
Right.
If we don't see, I hope it's not a Suicide Squad Joker. Oh, watch this. Vader's in it. Vader.
Yeah.
And then you get it, and he's like,
As long as they
Kill
don't
him.
pull a Suicide Squad, we'll be okay.
yeah. Oh, we'll see. We'll see.
Shit.
Awesome. Well, we are going to wind down with this. We want to thank Stupendous Wave for being with us.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you. It was a good time. Thanks.
Yeah, this is why we do it. We love talking to other fanboys.
And you dropped some massive knowledge that we either didn't know about or had never fucking even considered before. So
Right.
that was perfect.
So you're hired as a weekly guest. Just so we can bounce questions and ideas off each other. That's awesome. Well,
Theories.
again, if you guys are local, we are doing a Rogue One release party on next Thursday on the 15th.
Yep.
So if you're in the Columbus area, come out. We are going to be selling our beer. We produced a beer with actual brewing, our buddies over there. We're going to have maybe a keg and a half, 2 kegs-ish. So get there. It's called Rouge One. Get it?
Get it. It's red.
It's a red IPA.
Yes.
But Rouge One for Rogue One.
And to clarify, we have events on Thursday and Saturday. So 12:15 is the big premiere, Rogue One comes out at 7 p.m. that night. And then Saturday the 17th is more of a beer tasting casual event. You probably will have already seen the movie by that time, but, we're going to see it probably 5 or 6 times. So it's a good opportunity to come back out.
And we don't want people, if you don't have tickets for Thursday, that doesn't mean don't show up. We have local artists that are going to be selling their prints. We have the 501st Ohio Garrison coming out. I think like 4 or 5 of those guys are coming out fully dressed.
More than that, whole squadron.
We've got X-Wing miniatures playing. We're going to have some Battlefield 2.
Battlefront 2
Best
set
Star
up.
Wars
game ever.
And we're going to have Rouge 1 beer. Guys, just come out, hang out with us.
Make it happen.
Be awesome.
The event's free. Obviously, you just need to buy your ticket for the movie itself.
If you're going to be
else is already included.
Yeah, awesome.
Sweet.
Episode 86.
All right. I'm Commander Cody.
I'm Mopar.
See ya.
Complete. Awesome. Stupendous. Thank you for coming on with us.
Woo.
Yeah, no problem. That was fun.
That was a good episode.
Yeah, there's a lot of knowledge dropped. That's good. We need to hire Stupendous. Yeah.
Well, as soon as we have a budget, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm headed off to bed, guys.
No, yeah, I hear you. We
Yeah.
will. Yeah. If you are ever on again, just let us know if you need to leave. We can just
just shout.
do it.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry about the whole dog thing.
Oh, you're fine. You don't realize how laid back we are. We've had a lot worse.
If you couldn't tell, our show is very live. Whatever happens, happens. So I'm definitely going to keep that in, and it's all good.
It's fine.
All right. Yeah, no. I'll definitely look forward, and if you guys ever want me back, just let me know.
Sure,
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
I'll get you the links closer to Monday when we put it up, and we'll talk soon.
All right, excellent. It was nice to meet you guys.
You too,
Nice
man.
to meet you, man. Thanks.
Hey, peace.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, you live motherfuckers.
Is there anyone left?
I think so. We got Kerner, we got Jason, we got Mr. Grip, Gilbert, motherfuck. And yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Stupendous is, I think, by far the most knowledgeable Star Wars fan we've ever had, surpassing Butterclone. Because I think Butterclone, we love Butterclone. I think once they decided that everything was non-canon, he
like,
kind
"Fuck
of
this."
gave up.
Yeah. Why? What's the point of reading? It's not real.
Because I remember all throughout college, Pat was trying to explain to me about Darth Krayt, and I was like, this guy, his mask, he's not even I don't understand.
He's not even what?
I just gave up, but Stupendous. That was a treat. So thanks for tuning in. As usual, this will be on YouTube tomorrow. The official final edited goodness will be on iTunes Monday. It's 8 days of Rogue One.
8 days.
Kerner, we'll see you next week for the movie.
There was a lot. Like, I'm still catching up on.
My brain's. I'm gonna be like dreaming about all the stuff I didn't think about right now.
Isn't that what you always dream about?
We'll be catching up on all the extra info.
I'm gonna be washing my mouth out with mouthwash after these condom flavored beers.
Grip just said, so who would you want to get stoned with?
In the Star Wars universe?
Yeah, in the Star Wars universe, probably Yoda.
Obi-Wan.
Nah. Yoda's seen the most.
I feel like Yoda's not gonna even talk about anything. He's gonna talk normal. As soon as he gets blazed.
Blaze just be like, I'm a Jedi.
Jedi.
Just talk standard.
Last week you used my bathroom. You know how small that shit is. You can't be using that. You stunk it all up. Motherfucker.
I don't know. I think it would probably be, well,
R2-D2.
if you got Palpatine too stoned, he'd
Just
realize that he's an asshole and he'd turn nice. So you gotta be careful. Mace, Yoda seems stoned already, he said, yeah. Mace is really pissed, so maybe if you
know who it would
smoked
be?
him up, he'd chill out a
Is
bit.
Obi-Wan's diner buddy, because he's like the Joey
Dex.
Diaz of the Star Wars universe.
He is. We need to tweet him that. That is Joey Diaz of Star Wars.
He's just gonna come up with some crazy. He works in a diner, but he's been through wars and he knows.
Yep.
Oh,
all right, guys. Thanks for being with us. We try to stay tuned into the chat as much as we can, but it's hard to see it from this far away.
Well, it's especially difficult with a guest, so we apologize if we've missed stuff.
Yeah. We were hoping to get his face up there, but he didn't want to be on video, so whatever. But yeah, so tweet us, Instagram us, email us, whatever else, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye.